sitting out there in a marathon. You can watch the snow.
Welcome, everyone, to the Thursday, December 12th meeting of the staff and the Village of Lansing Board of Trustees. We started a little bit late today. We're having a holiday meal, so people are still eating, so if you see it on camera, just excuse us for a little while we finish up the meal. Mike, I'm going to start with you today, if you don't mind.
Yeah, what better for digestion than code and stormwater?
This,
I can't think of anything better than that.
and a nice nap after.
Those are two subjects I've been working on most. Stormwater, we're getting my year-end details together. I'll have the swamp ready here soon. The stormwater maintenance program will be put up on the website. Like I said before, that generally gives you information like, who to call if you see a illicit discharge, what to do. They'll have everybody's names on there, what their jobs are as far as stormwater. So that'll be coming up. We've had quite a few coalition meetings, stormwater coalition meetings that they've been pretty good about helping us along as far as what DEC is requiring of us. So far, they seem to be pretty good as far as working with us and not yelling at us, which is very helpful.
Yes.
The other subject we've been doing is the new 2024 uniform code, codification for the changes, the draft changes. There's quite a bit. There's 280 changes in the code they're looking to do. Whether they eliminate whether it's eliminating sections, whether it's adding sections, or just rewording them to make them a little clearer. In the past, and at this point, they've got the draft and they've taken comments from code officers and anyone else who has to deal with the uniform code. We had a Staboa meeting yesterday, and this subject was brought up when we were discussing it, as far as actually getting the state to listen to us. They want our comments, but in general, we feel like they kind of slough off our comments thinking that it's because we don't want to have to deal with change, or, we don't want to have to work hard or whatnot. It seems like they just kind of poo-poo us off. But what we were talking about is possibly getting the town officials a little more involved in the changes that are happening, so that maybe a letter from town officials or a town board may have more weight going to the state for them to actually listen to the comments. One of the I gave you all a copy of, it's kind of a summed up version of the topics that they're going to be looking at doing some changes. I gave you this as opposed to giving you all of the changes, because if you read through all the changes, your eyes are going to glass over. This is, like I said, if we read through here and you have a question on some of these topics, feel free to send me an email. I can kind of explain what's getting changed on it. Two of the bigger topics, and the first one I want to bring up is one that's somewhat concerning to me, is they're looking to, any new single-family homes are looking to require sprinkler systems put in. Now, if you think about that at first, and I sat there and I thought about it, yeah, okay, that's great. You got a great safety item. It might save your house. But you're talking about, if you're talking about the Village of Lansing, it might not be that big a deal because it's all municipal water. But what are we talking about if we get out to a well system? Most well systems couldn't handle a wet sprinkler system, so they would have to incorporate a dry system, which is very expensive. Mm-hmm. And all of that is going to trickle down to more expensive housing, more expensive to build. What's that going to do to the economy? What's that going to do to affordable housing? If you do affordable housing and now these are being required, they're getting some benefit from, they're getting some state benefit. And where's that money coming from? State benefit? Out of all taxpayers' pockets. So there's a lot of moving parts there, and it kind of, it's kind of concerning to me that they would require this. Another issue that I think of when they want you to have sprinkler systems in single-family homes is if you're doing a renovation in your home, there's 3 categories of alterations. There's level 1, 2, and 3. And level 3 alteration, which is the most significant, is if you are renovating over 50% of your home, you're required to bring everything you do up to the existing code. So let's say you go through and you're renovating your whole house, what, does that mean you have to put sprinkler systems in? This becomes
Cumbersome.
overwhelming. So that might be something, I'm gonna send you folks the information on that and have you read through it. And might take some comments back from you, but it's not too late to send stuff into, comments into New York State to let them know whether you're pro or con with this whole sprinkler system.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Are those, does anyone have to inspect those fire suppression systems in a single-family home?
Yeah, you'd have to have a third party.
How often?
Whoever puts in the system, you have to have a third-party inspector.
What about, is there an annual cycle or anything that you have to go back through an inspection, or?
That I don't know, it would make sense, good question.
Yeah, because that's what they require of.
That's another trickle-down effect to it. Do I now have to, do they now have to certify that every year? Do I have to make sure I get that certification for every single-family home? I don't know. So, it's it up. The other was, earlier in the year, I was concerned about what they were gonna be doing with the energy code. Yes, they are increasing the requirements for thermal barriers, they're increasing requirements for the amount of R value in walls and ceilings and whatnot, but it's not going to affect this county all that much because, as you can see, I think it's on page 4, we have been from climate zone 6 to climate zone 5, which is considering us warmer now, so the R value has kind of offset each other. The climate zone 6, the R value has gone up. We dropped down to climate zone 5 when it was 4 to begin with. It's really not going to affect this area all that. Like I said, if you want, I'm going to make sure that you guys can have all the information that you need, but not overwhelm you with just the major not major details, the minor details of what they're changing in the code. So if you want to look that over at some point, and you have questions, please email me and let me know what
I
you think.
have questions about the plumbing fixture flow rates. What are they now and what are they limiting them to?
I would have, that I don't have offhand, I'll have to.
And then if someone renovates 50% of their house, then they have to go ahead and change all the shower heads?
If you're existing.
Throughout the house?
These are things, if you're, in most cases, if you're existing, the only time you have to change things over to the new code is if you do a level 3 alteration.
Which is 50% of your house. So then you have to change all the fixtures in your showers and like the
If
rest.
that is within the work area.
Oh, if it's not in the work area,
If it's
then
not
you
within the
don't,
work
then you
area.
don't have to. Okay.
So other than that, I'm going to be, well, here's another thing. They're also toying with, not this code change, but maybe the next code change of eliminating all fossil fuels in new homes. Now, that includes if you end up changing out your system. If you have a gas system and you want to go and you upgrade that gas system, you're not gonna be allowed to. It's just a lot of stuff that they're touching on. Whether it goes through or not, I have no idea, but I just wanted to make sure everyone's kind of aware of what the direction we're heading with.
So now the flood-year plan in Ithaca is a 100-year flood, and now we're changing to the 500-year flood? Does any of that touch the village, or it's all?
No.
It's all way
We
below?
don't have any floodplains here.
But it would dramatically affect the rest of Ithaca.
In some other
Almost
places,
everywhere,
yeah. Yeah,
right?
you
Because
get
now it's
down
100,
Ithaca,
right?
You get down in Ithaca and it'll affect.
I mean, everything flows, you know,
Yeah.
but then if you were in the 200 to 300 range, now you're gonna be in the 500 range.
Yes, will definitely affect people down there, will not affect.
And everybody will have insurance costs, annual insurance costs.
And then in the beginning of the year, of course, I have to start prepping for the 1203 report, which is building, reports on building code, fire inspections, all that kind of stuff. That has to go to the state, which is nothing I haven't done before over the last 6 years. I don't really have much on the planning board. They haven't met.
Is there anything in this changes that you were excited to see happen? Like, oh, that's a good idea?
There's a few minor things, some of his wording and whatnot, but in general, no.
Okay.
That's pretty much all I have, unless someone has some questions for me. Like I said, please send me an email, something that you think might affect the village.
Besides Taco Bell opening like Christmas, anything else going on since planning board hasn't met?
The planning board will have a couple of special permits, more than likely coming at the end of January. One of them possibly be where the pump station is at Bolton Point, down near the shore. They want to add a small building down there. And then there might possibly be seeing 20 Bomax come back with a PDA. You remember they initially came to us about Tetra Tech. Is it Tetra?
20 Bomax is that one building?
That's
Transonic, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
John's Tech.
And
No,
the same
it's
PDA, the same buildish?
Yeah.
What about the Warren Road property?
It was sold, that's all I know.
Yeah,
That's all you know? No follow-up from
yeah, I noticed that.
the buyer?
That's really all I have.
Do we want to discuss the Bolton Estate easements? But
You
just,
can do it now, absolutely.
I was thinking that we would get input from that. I know that, John, you said that we shouldn't accept any drainage beyond just what we currently have, right? That's,
We have a lot of cross-lot drainage easements that are about 15 to 20 feet wide. And basically, they encompass the natural outfalls that were originally on the property. So when they developed the property, they basically cut a road through some of those conveyance systems. And as just in with anything we do, we convey the water from one side of the road to the other.
yes,
And then wherever it goes from there through people's property, the village is not responsible for.
okay.
I know the town of Lansing's developing a lot of new drainage districts in their town, and I said something to Dondi, like, that's a never-ending maintenance thing. And I know in some cases, like back at Jody's house, I know they dug that out a few years ago, the town, because they actually have a drainage easement, and it basically goes up through the properties.
Okay.
But in the village, a lot of these are narrow pieces, they're on steep slope areas, and it's just not advisable, in my opinion, for the village to take maintenance responsibilities for something that a developer basically created. The only things that, I'm not sure if Natalie emailed everybody, but I did print off this one for lot 1 here.
Yes.
Just I can pass it around. And basically what it is when Bolton Point originally had to develop Bolton Estates, which is Blackchin and Rockcrest Lane, they saved some landscape easement, like in this lot 1 here is a landscape easement here. And then right in here is a drainage easement. And basically there's a natural conveyance system, crosses East Shore Drive, goes down the property, and they elongated the culvert. Naturally, you want the culverts to cross the roads perpendicular.
Yes.
It's easier to maintain them.
Right.
This one here is elongated, so when they did, in order for it to have some area where it's a safety zone here, they had to extend the pipe out of the villages right away. So then they just blocked this in as a little bit of an easement area that would allow the village to go in and maintain it. But the village doesn't own the conveyance system past that. So my recommendation was to Natalie was to keep this one if we can. If we can't, we have essentially a right-of-way by use, and a municipality can exercise the right-of-way by use by proving that they have maintained it. And with that pipe in there, that's proof alone.
Okay.
So that one there, I recommend that they try to get. If they can't, we'll just consider it a right-of-way by use. And she kind of agreed with me. We were doing a three-way call with Dondi and myself and Natalie. And as far as landscape easement, we have enough road right-of-way with the radiuses. If you look at the radiuses where Black Chin comes up and connects to East Shore Drive, if they ever wanted to do a landscape easement there, we already have a street light in the right-of-way, so we don't really need that landscape easement. And if anybody wants to see this, I can pass it along if you would.
So what's bringing this up right now?
The sale of the property of the Gludish property, it's a north lot on the north side of the north leg in of Black Chin, because Black Chin comes back around.
Okay.
So it's on the north leg. He wants to sell the property. Well, the buyer's attorney picked up on it and cut it because it's in the easements as it goes down through, and it says subject to, right? So subject to, and then it lists anything that might pertain to that property. Well, it says subject to the landscape easement and the drainage easement. So Natalie posed a question. Originally, I think Jody and Mike was contacted by David Gludish or his attorney Marcus, or the buyer's attorney, I'm not sure, but it was Randy Marcus. And when Crossmore developed the property, my first question on that email was basically, how does Ed Crossmore have a right to come back in and secure the easements after he sold all the properties? Usually when you sell a property, you lose your rights.
Yes.
But it says in the language, subject to Ed Crossmore conveying easements to.
An individual.
It's subject to a conveyance or offer a dedication of the easements to the village of Lansing. So that helped us kind of secure those easements. But what I would do, what I would like to do before Peter, this lot needs to be decided today. And my recommendation today is forget the landscape easement, it's such a small little piece, and try to at least encompass this easement back to the village.
Okay.
Done.
Yeah.
The second thing was the project, the plat in general of all the easements that were originally to be dedicated and conveyed to the village. That one, I would like to go case by case and look at all the easements and see if which ones we want and which ones we don't want.
Okay.
Because they're all to different landowners, and I think they would have to, even though Ed Crossmore reserves the right to convey the easements down the road, it would be worth reaching out to the landowner and not flexing any muscles to cause problems. You know what I mean? Because right now we have lived and we have managed to go on without needing those easements.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So
As time goes on, we might have to get in there.
as time goes on. So what I would like to do is sit down with Donnie and go through and just make sure if we need an easement that conveys to our pond, retain that one or try to obtain that one.
Okay.
But there's one, if you go in Rockcrest Lane, and Karen Baldini owns two properties on the end, say 12 o'clock on the cul-de-sac, and then about 10 o'clock on the cul-de-sac, she bought that lot too. That easement goes down over that steep slope area, which is almost
Unusable.
you couldn't maintain it.
Yeah.
I mean, you would actually have to like rope yourself down in there, 'cause some of that's pretty steep.
Yeah. Okay.
So that would be my recommendation to the board, if they wanted to do a resolution so they can get back, so Jody can get back to Natalie on this. I think you were copied in the email, correct?
No, what happened was it came to me first. I'm not the person to deal with it. That's why it went to you guys. So I was just the contact originally because I'm the clerk.
Right, no, I mean, on last night's email from Natalie, I thought you were
I'm
copied.
included in it.
Okay, yeah, so I'm asking if you would be the one to respond. Are you going to be the one?
You would, because you have the
Okay.
best information.
All right.
Don't you think?
Okay, yeah, that's fine. But I think,
If you're asking me questions, I'm gonna have to refer you
Yeah.
anyway, so.
but I feel like, okay, that's not a problem. I just didn't want to step on anybody's toes. I feel like you either have to do a resolution or just do something to state what the village's interests are in that.
Right, I think that I will propose a resolution, I will move a resolution that related to the Bolton Estate properties in this consideration.
In this lot one, I would refer to lot one.
For Lot 1, that we retain the drainage easement that's indicated on this property in the southwest corner of that lot, and we do not retain the landscape easement in the southeast corner of the property.
Perfect, and you got your directions perfect, spot on.
I'll need a second.
And second,
Susan seconds that. Does anyone want to discuss it more before we make
This
it?
is from Natalie.
I'm sorry?
This is from Natalie.
Yes.
And John.
Yes, yeah.
Natalie wanted it official,
Yeah.
so she could reach back out to her client or return Randy Marcus's question.
Right, and I guess the sooner the better. But I agree with you. If we don't need this little piece of landscaping easement, otherwise, we might be required to go out there and mow it and take care of it. And for that one little piece that we don't need, because there's a street light there, and that's what we would need it for anyway. So I agree. Any other discussion or questions? Okay, all of those in favor of that resolution, please say aye. Aye. Okay.
Aye.
Oh, thank you, Wolfgang. So, John, I guess when you get around to looking at all of the properties, if you need something similar from us, you can bring it to us individually or in a group, whatever you want to do. How long do you think that would take you?
Probably next week, I would probably jump on a Zoom with Dondi real quick, and we'll kind of highlight some areas that we want to in-person meet on, but it wouldn't take too long to come up with that. And then basically what Natalie was asking in that email was if we wanted Peter to reach out to Ed Crossmore, since they know each other pretty well. So once I get that figured out what we want, we can just, I'll copy you in an email and just say, hey, see if you can get these easements from Ed.
Copy the trustees and Jody.
Okay, so do you want me to put this as an agenda item on the first January meeting?
No, not yet. I want to make sure that we don't get a foot of snow and just get delayed. Those are not critical. This one's critical.
This one's critical. This one's time sensitive.
Yeah.
Right, so, we might as well take care of all the properties while we're focused on it, and then when we get decisions, then we can just add it to the next forthcoming trustees meeting after that.
Which won't be till February.
It might be February, but if it's not time sensitive, we'll at least get it done and do it right.
Perfect, yep.
Thanks, John.
Mike, that reminded me of a property across the street from Rockcrest. What's happening there? The bus car situation. I met with Karen at her house, and she was like asking me about it just like 2 weeks ago.
He's moved
still
everything
moving?
he could possibly move out back, and he's selling,
He's selling the property.
no, he's selling a lot of the
Do you-
antiques.
Do you have a deadline for him that is in place currently?
I am satisfied with what he has moved already, so I've kind of closed
Oh, you have?
I closed it up.
Oh, okay,
He's moved everything that's really unlicensed and
okay,
as far as the word of the code goes.
okay. But the bus is visible, correct? The bus is there,
The bus is there, but the bus
is licensed?
it's not licensed well, it has registration on it. He did register it, but the license itself has expired, but
So there's the bus still.
he said he's gonna try to sell it. So, I haven't really got a hard line on him yet, but he's made a grand attempt at it, and he's moved almost everything out of there. So,
Except for the bus,
except for the bus, which he's trying to sell.
okay. I think she's expecting us to,
Send her something.
well, finish with the bus and then send her something.
I'll send you an email.
Moving on, John, what do you have for us today?
Is everybody else at Mike? I didn't know. Is there gonna be a resolution number tied to that?
Yep, there will be.
Okay,
I can get that for you.
okay, thank you. Had our third water break of the year, on Oak Crest here. That's a fairly new water system too. That was, constructed in 1996. That's it on those. I don't want to mention that name again. But we battled some snow, some ice, and some rain. It's just been such a convoluted year. We pulled wires on the street lights down here on Graham Road West. Floyd inspected it. It passed. Makes us feel good that our work meets Floyd's expectations. NICEAG actually come down and looked at it too, and they turned it into their line department, and that should be activated here soon. We had another issue with 18 Dart Drive sewer lateral that the contractor dug through, and they fixed it, but they apparently didn't get all the stones out of the line, and it backed up. So the lady's name there is Sarah, really, really good person, very patient, worked with us. We will not have to pay any money for that.
Is that what they're working on today?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was fixed. The problem is with a lot of the sewer laterals that service the village residents is they never keep their cleanouts clear and maintained. So if you have a problem, if you don't have a way to get in the system, you have to go into the house. So that makes it very difficult and very inconvenient for the landowner. But Robinson, I notified them, they were really responsive, and they come up and fixed it today. So we cameraed the line again, and it's all clear now.
Okay.
We ordered all the wire for Dart Drive streetlights. 3,000 feet of wire is just not sitting in somebody's store, so it had to get ordered. So when we get that in, we'll be pulling some weather pending and try to get most of that in. But once we get that wire in, as we pull it, we'll make we'll terminate it for the street light pole itself, and then we'll put the service in. It's going to be a metered service instead of energy only. But that's about it. I'm sure I'm forgetting something. We're wrapping up the contract, and it's just basically retainage now, which I think is $125,000, I think, or something like that. People are connecting intermittently to the new system down on East Shore Drive, Cuba Heights Road, and there's a lot of interest doing it. Sometime soon, we should probably do a formal resolution stating the official completion of the line, as residents have 3 years to connect.
Okay.
So we need to have a drop dead hard date. And then, but I don't want to do that yet until we study the language. Natalie at one point was going to come up with some language on the criteria of what would allow you to either get an extension or not require you to connect.
Okay.
I'll give you a perfect example. Rockcrest Lane is 800-900 feet down off from East Shore Drive. You go in there, there's a brand new house up there, but his land touches East Shore Drive. So he got a connection, and it's, let's say, 1,000 or 2,000 feet uphill in rock to it. That's a fairly new house, new system, less than 10 years old probably. That would be, that's the criteria we need to set. It's like, is it the lay of the land that's going to be an obstacle? stuff like that.
Right.
We just.
Age of the septic system, et cetera.
Yeah, we just need to, age of the septic system, say 15 years, anything, and that would still maybe require some kind of an inspection by an engineer that their system is good. But I will tell you, there's some interest on 2 outside of the village users on connecting to the sanitary sewer lines. One is that Terryton Development again is surfacing. That's up on Arrowwood and Brentwood. It's the lot up that goes out towards the back of Sapsucker Woods. The second one I got interest in this week is basically in the town of Lansing, on the Miller property, if you know where that is. It goes up around the sharp corner after Millcroft, and it's the vacant lot that goes out back of Borg Warner, and then there's another piece that comes up to the houses on Rosina Drive.
Okay.
So that's all in the town. All those are in the town.
Is that the one that hooks into Borg Warner?
Yes.
That's been, yeah.
Yeah, so now the Marathon Engineering, which is Adam Fischel, lives up on Rosina Drive. He was reached out by his client to see what the sewer was on that. They did it good. As you come up Rosina Drive and make the sharp 90-degree bend, there's a house right there. They'd reserved an easement across that for those properties to connect to the town of Lansing sewer, which is great because that'll go into their system and ultimately go to their flow meter. Versus connecting to the village main on the end of Bush Lane.
Right.
And requiring an additional flow meter.
Okay.
So it limits the exposure of all this extra appurtenances that need to be installed.
Okay.
On the various multiple connection points. That's if geographically it's possible.
Possible, yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing while we're talking about sewer is John and I were discussing people outside of the village connecting. And so if you connect inside the village, it's $2,350. Right now, people outside are not paying, but I asked Natalie, and she said the language that we have in our code seems like they should, which brings up the total new concern was, what about Cherry Road and Warren Road? Why didn't all these new places that are going in, why aren't they paying for connection fees?
We talked about this, I remember having this conversation.
Yeah.
And the thing of it is, maybe you don't capture what has been, but anything new.
Starting on a specific.
If you create some kind of an addendum to that and say, hey, from now moving forward, this is what you do.
Do we need to address the language, or the language is already there?
No, we have an agreement with the town of Lansing right now for Cherry and Warren. So that agreement would be the one to update, correct?
Yeah, that needs to be
And what
updated.
about-
We had a meeting on this.
Yeah. And what about the town of Lansing? I don't seem to have that agreement that we had with them about sending sewer there. Is there anything?
The town of Lansing?
Town of Lansing.
They are part of that agreement.
No, another one for the line we just did.
Oh, that's.
That was for Cherry and Warren.
It is, it's underneath there as Sewer District 1. That specific area is of the Young's property, and the Weinstein's property is named Sewer District 1. And
We don't have a formal agreement with
It's
the
in there.
village with the town?
it's in there.
We do have
It
one.
was in there. I showed you the 30 gallons a day limit.
But it doesn't say anything about connection fees. That's kind of what
No,
I'm saying. That
it's underneath that same agreement, though.
It's in the
If-
Cherry and Warren?
Yeah, it's all in this. What they did when they updated it, they did an addendum to the original agreement, added Sewer District 1, kept all the same language, so it reverts back to the original agreement. It's just an addendum page. I've sent that to everybody. I believe it's called Appendix B, or I think it's something like that.
I
So,
think we need to get that to Natalie.
She has it.
So, but.
Yep. We had a big meeting.
I think we need to explicit.
Because now, we used to have, when we had a bond anticipation note for the Warren and Cherry, when we put new line in, they paid a portion, just like all village residents did. And then they also did an O&M. But now, we don't have any debt. So they're not paying, I mean, they're paying half of what they used to. So, and
So-
because we paid for that whole project without taking
Yeah.
a bond,
Yep.
how do you recoup that?
I don't think you recapture that. I think you have to add a capital reserve portion back to the rate. So there's a user fee, an O&M fee, jetting, fixing little stuff, but there needs to be, like I've said it before, there's like 3 different tiers of reserves. One for long range, one for an intermediate range, and one's for emergency short range. So basically what you do at that point, you allocate, because the O&M fees that the town pays the village, we've had this meeting. Remember Natalie typed that letter up and it just, everybody got busy, it fell flat. She typed the letter up and sent it to the board. This is what we're gonna send to the town. We had a Zoom meeting, you, Carolyn, Natalie, Dondi, and myself on that one. And what we determined was we wanted to try to get some reserve and capital reserve fees on that. Instead of debt consideration, it would be renamed as a capital reserve for future projects.
Okay.
So there's a lot of work that we need to do. And my biggest, not complaint, but gripe is that I think we get 20,000 in revenue from the town of Lansing to use the miles and miles of our system to get to the treatment plant. And they're using it. If they would have to install their own treatment facility, it'd be millions and millions of dollars.
Right.
So we just need to get a little bit of that for future maintenance, future expansion. It's not that they cause us any harm with their sewer coming down through here. It's the limiting the growth in the village because we don't have enough available capacity in the pipe, right? So we already did a study on the uptown development. And with that come 2 recommendations. One is in this area needs to be upgraded, and 2, this area needs to be upgraded. You know what I mean? So, and that was listed in that study.
So it's been a while. Where do those stand? Where do those agreements stand? Has anything been signed by the town or?
As far as
Agreeing to this, wouldn't they have to agree to this?
the sewer,
Yeah.
in that meeting we had, it was signed in 2019. In 2014, we reserved the right to reevaluate the agreement every 5 years. And so we have a right to,
19 and then 24.
yeah, so we're here.
Right.
And what I need to do is I need to go back in there and bring some of them emails up, and it'll refresh everybody's memories in here. The only one that is Wolfgang and Catherine.
Well, no, me too.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
Feels like
Yeah.
we've been here forever.
Yeah. So once I bring that back up and you get a chance to dig into that, you'll remember, so.
But I think we need to do it sooner than later before people start connecting.
I agree.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Agree.
So that's,
I
Absolutely.
agree.
I agree.
My concern is the town of Lansing, and I brought this concern to Ronnie a little bit, that they're oversizing their lines up through there and they're gonna have a lot of problems. And,
We have no control over that.
well, we do, because it comes down and connects into our village sanitary sewer. So, what happens, I'll give you just a quick briefing of it, is if you have too big of a line and not enough flow, the solids, the water works around them, and now this big glob of paper towels gets to be, at a certain point, that there gets to be enough flow above it to push it down into our system. That's where we have the power.
So have they already installed those lines?
No.
No, so they're over.
That's the one that,
Oversized, the design is oversized.
yeah, that's the one that,
I misunderstood.
that Young's, the town Lansing board authorized Ruth to be the applicant for the sewer expansion project for Young's.
So have we communicated to them that the line has to be downsized?
I communicated to the Youngs and their engineer,
Okay.
which is Tim Buell, and it's kind of a sticky situation because you got Dave Herrick that's with TG Miller representing the town, and Dondi from TG Miller representing the village.
Well, they should know as engineers how the whole thing works.
Yeah, you would think it would be just continuity, right? It doesn't work that way. So
Is it something that Ronnie needs to get a hold of?
Ronnie and I had a little chat about it, and I just haven't had a chance to pick it up on that. Like I said, the sewer just got a little behind there on how to move forward with obtaining more funds from the town of Lansing.
Right.
But we did have a meeting, and I made the recommendation to the Youngs to try to persuade the town, because they're proposing a 12-inch main and an 8-inch main. 99 runs some quick tabs with the percentage of slopes they have up there will handle almost a million gallons a day. And they're only allowed 30,000 gallons a day. So the spectrum is way off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So where is it going at this?
I just have to follow. I made mention to it with Mike Mosley and to get back to me. He stopped over, handed me some receipts in September, I think it was. And I said, let me know the status. And I ended up having to backdoor get the plans for the town of Lansing. They weren't real cooperative.
Well, that's my concern.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were not real cooperative. I ended up getting the plans from Young's, and you were copied on that as well.
And I recall there was some discussion, chit chat, but I would rather take care of it now.
Yeah.
Because it'll fall through the cracks again.
Right.
So 30,000 gallons a day is what they're allowed. That's what Brett promised them, and that's what's in that user agreement. And I'll forward that user agreement on to you all again. And 30,000 is it. When they get to 30,000, and then the village of Cuba Heights and Village of Lansing can reevaluate it and discuss whether they'll give them more. But what the problem is with too big of a line, they can't get accurate readings on the flow meters because it needs a certain size trough to go through.
So why are they engineering a line that's too big?
I don't understand, and I can't answer that for you. The only thing I can think of is they needed to go a little bit more north of where we ended up.
That's what you said.
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah.
They need to go a little bit more north, maybe 12-inch, because eventually someday there was future expansion up to the rink.
And it'll happen.
But right now it's basically lines going, it's going to be landlocked to only so much area to be developed.
Yes.
Yeah, I wish I could show you on the map. I mean, we could go on all day with this, and I'd rather not bore you.
What's our next step to attack that? What's our?
We need to get to the town. We need to get to the town of Lansing.
Who's gonna do that?
I will initiate something. I will initiate something.
Who are you gonna
I'm gonna get with Dondi, and I'm gonna have, because I've been mentioning it to Dondi, he's supposed to go over and talk to Dave and see where they're standing. Because we have a right to review the flow meter, and we haven't seen anything on that yet.
If it was September and this is December, that's 4 months.
Yeah, I know.
Soon it's gonna be February.
Could we push?
Don't kick me in the ribs too much, I've been busy.
I want you to know.
Oh, yeah, support us, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I
We
agree.
need to get, can we push for an end of this year decision by them on what, are they gonna change that line or not change that line?
Only gives you a couple weeks.
Yes,
Well,
I
unless
know.
you tell them they
I know.
have to change the line, they're not gonna change the line, because they have future plans.
Yeah, well, but
So I
but we
can
have,
answer that for you right
do we
now.
have the right to reject anything coming in that we think is going to harm the system?
Brent and I we have advocated on this line, it goes through the dingweeds. It cuts across, if you know where the storage yard is, down next to Phelps Automotive, down on the end of Water Wagon Road, the line comes up the back 40 of the properties, meaning it comes way off the beaten path. And we advocated to try to get it towards the road front, that way you have ease of access. And Brent and I have stalemated with them on it.
Who will be maintaining that?
Town of Lansing.
If then you've told them, if they don't do it, then it's gonna be their
Yeah, I
responsibility.
understand that, but the problem is, if they can't retrieve, they can't fix the problem quick enough and it migrates down to our lines, now we inherit the problem, you know?
I would say if that's the
Yes.
case, we can charge them.
Absolutely, we got to figure something out.
Yeah.
You know, I don't negotiate the sewer agreement between the municipalities. That's all that's all you.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
I can reveal it and make recommendations to you.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yep.
But,
What if Brent just takes a hard line and says, we're not going to agree to a hookup to a system with a system that the measurement, the flow measurements are gonna be inaccurate?
if I could just give you a quick answer to that, they've already agreed to the connection in the form of that agreement. But I'm not sure that there might be some teeth in it, that you could sink your teeth into, some writing that may allow him
And I would
to have
say
some.
we agreed to a maximum capacity with the assumption, of course, that you can measure the capacity. And to the extent you're putting in something that is unmeasurable, it doesn't meet our criteria.
That's right.
That's what, I think that Brent should say that now.
Yeah, and our pumps at Cuba Heights intersection with East Shore Drive are only designed for so much flow, right? They're not designed for 2 million gallons a day. Right. They're designed for probably 10 times of what we've allowed them to put in our system. But just like Brent and Linda have come to you and talking about upgrades in their system.
Right.
I mean, it's huge. That's a big rock to roll.
Yeah.
I mean,
It is. And it's a long-term solution, and in the meantime, we can't overpower the flow into their system. So we have to, it doesn't matter what the town thinks they're gonna be able to do. Right now, and for the foreseeable future, say 5 years, they can't put anything in the line to support a larger than 8-inch line.
and then add to that, look at the amount of potential development we may or may not allow. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do.
They wanted a will-serve letter for that Transact property up there, and the village doesn't get into will-serve letters. It's what we don't do.
Yeah, we
No,
can't.
we're gonna promise you that we're gonna give you 400 units of sewer units. We can't do that. We can't get into it, because if something happens and we get an influx of I between the time that we give that will-serve letter and the time that they build, we're limited. Our capacity's limited.
Yes.
I will get some stuff rolling, now that this project's simmered down. This project's consumed a lot of my time this year. So, I'll get something rolling, and I'm gonna start off, I think we all talked about the amount of people on copy of emails or something like that. Didn't we talk about this a while ago at a meeting?
Yes,
About CCing people?
Yes.
I think I would just kind of like to keep it with Ronnie and maybe add things in as we go along as needed. You're not gonna want 50 emails flying in your inbox.
Copy Carolyn also.
Okay, all
Just in
right,
case I'm out of town or something happens.
I agree. Because what happens if everybody replies with a little bit of information, next thing you know, you got so much dialogue going, a decision can't be made.
and you don't have the history.
Right.
You're sending emails in
Right.
5 different places.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
A copy of the original and amended agreement between the town and the village, though, would, even if you want to put a printed copy in the folder, would be useful for all the trustees to have.
Yeah, I've sent the, alls I have is the appendix. I never, like I said, I was never involved in any of those agreements. I was never involved in any of them. I never even got to see them until 2 years ago.
Yeah, the
Why?
agreements were done back.
I don't know. I'm not saying anything bad about anybody, but Don basically spearheaded all that,
I see.
and the engineer,
Done it in.
Dave Herrick. Well, Dave Herrick's sitting in their chairs too, and it's almost a conflict. And I brought that up to Dondi and Dave. I said, I don't think it's right that we don't have some barrier between engineers representing the village and the town's best interest. we can't have one, because Dave did most of the design for our sewer expansion project. And I just feel like Dondi's our guy, and Dondi should not have anything to do with the town of Lansing on the sewer. It's the village, because when they produce a plan and he and I sit down and look at it, he needs to give his opinion based on the information representing the village. And he and I and Dave Herrick had a talk, and they agreed.
Well, it's like a legal firm, you need a
That's what I was
Chinese
thinking.
firewall.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because it's such a small town, you have to use the same
You
engineering
have to do
firm.
that, yeah.
We just have to have an understanding with them, that's clear.
Yeah.
I
And there's
agree.
a code of
That's what I
ethics.
did.
Yeah, and that's all you do.
Exactly his code of ethics.
That's all you do.
Yep.
That's all you
I had
do.
to sit down and talk with him right up to the office, and I just said, I don't think it's right. And when we had the meeting with the Youngses and Brett and everybody, Dave Herrick went up and sat in Mike Mosley's office, and Donnie was in our office. And that's the way we needed to keep it. We needed to have that firewall up.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to talk about. I mean, I for you to.
I'm not-
Okay.
This is an important decision.
It is, it is.
Collect the information and let's get a dialogue started.
Yep.
And just see we gotta get it.
The biggest thing is that if everybody goes to their toilet and it flushes and works, everybody's fine until you have no more capacity and you can't flush your toilet anymore. That's where you start getting upset, so.
Right.
We need to get something rolling, for sure.
Okay.
That's all I have. Any questions on anything?
I wanted to ask, you mentioned 3 water main breaks, Oak Crest, then there was the Fire Night, and the third one is the one in front of Keuka Heights, on Keuka Heights Road, in front of Farzan's house?
Oh, yeah, I don't know their names, but it's
I don't
down
know.
towards Tyler Road.
Yeah, that's the third one, so how did you repair that one? Because they just showed me what their front yard looked like, it was like full-on swimming pool,
Pictures of it or current?
pictures of it.
Oh, yeah, it
It
was
was a full
bad.
swimming pool,
Yeah.
so how did you repair that, and why did it break?
It blew a hole in the top of the pipe.
Okay.
To me, if I was to make an assumption, a lot of times if you scar the pipe with a backhoe tooth or anything like that, you take the coating off it, and it's really subject to corrosive soils. We have high corrosive soils in this area.
So that's what you think it
Very
was,
high.
the corrosion?
So what it did is, if you see people do it, it's not uncommon, if they do a tap for a house, sometimes they just touch the pipe a little bit and take the coating, bituminous coating on it. And, or whatever it is, I think it's bituminous coating, and what it starts the corrosion line right there. So we've put clamps next to people's houses, quite common, it's quite common.
Okay.
So
When we inspect their sewer connection, can we look at that? And
on their water connection, we don't do the water connection.
can we have, does Bolton Point do that?
They do that, yes, they do that.
We have them add that to their list because it's causing an issue?
They know that, and that's the thing, but this is something that happened 20 and 30 years ago, so.
So now if they see that's happening, they
Yeah, they-
tell them you have to replace it, or?
Well, they tried to tell them you gotta coat it. You gotta coat it with something. I've seen them do that in the past. But that's what typically causes, or if they scar the pipe when they're installing the water line, sometimes that happens too.
Was it it wasn't related to anything to do with the sewer line?
No,
Nothing, totally unrelated,
No.
okay.
yeah, no, the sewer didn't even go down that far on that one. No.
No, yeah, because
That's
it's,
south.
yeah, it's, actually, yeah, it's like 50 feet.
That's
500
south of-
feet. Yeah, south of that, yeah, okay, I just saw the picture, he just showed it to me the other night, and I was like,
That thing was ripped.
I saw it after they partially cleaned it up, because I just drove by, but then I saw the original picture.
I mean, if there's issue with their lawn, let us know.
Oh, I'll ask him, okay.
Yeah, I
I'll ask him
mean,
on-
but I didn't see any other than I see they had some water on them. It was in the dingweeds where the stones and gravel
Yeah.
kind of got down through there. But, yeah, no, we typically clean it up the best we can, all the way down.
I'll follow up
as
with
far as
them,
we can.
see if they were unhappy.
But that water was shooting up to that pine tree next to their house.
Crazy.
That's like,
It was,
yeah,
it was.
yeah. So is there any other questions? Good.
Have you talked,
That makes me happy. Thank you.
My only question was gonna be traffic cameras, and you're obviously already got that going on, so that will be ready, I guess, this week sometime, right?
And they'll be
Yeah,
on the
they should be
website?
today, once I get them going and I figure out the platform that if we're still gonna do that for now. Once I get them going and get the platform, I'll the link for that platform. I don't think it's something that people are gonna have to create a password for and stuff. It just needs to be like a viewing link.
Yes.
I need
Yeah.
something simple.
Yeah, once you send me those links, I can put them on our website
Yep,
and just let anybody view.
yep.
Okay. Chris?
Just got done servicing the loader, all the filters, fluids, cleaning, all this summer, cleaning, like spring cleaning in the fall, winter.
Okay.
So,
Is that just in preparation for winter?
no, it's,
Winter,
It's been needed.
yeah, it's a long time coming, it's
Okay.
here, and between plowing snow and salting and all that, and water. That's all I got.
better to be prepared.
When you get done with a project, sometimes you just throw everything off the trailer and start your other one before you clean it. This is like wrapping up from multiple projects,
Don't.
so.
Understandable. Nick, what about you?
Just maintaining the trucks in between the snow and helping cleaning up.
Okay. So with the Dart Drive sidewalk, are we getting close to exceeding what we can support in the village? I mean, are we able to take care of that sidewalk okay with all of the others? And okay, no issues?
Change my direction of travel around a little bit, but
Okay.
only added a couple minutes to my route.
Okay. Well,
It's just been tough though, Ronnie, you know, I know you got one complaint and then I got one from another neighbor and,
about the ice,
yeah, and we really thought they were gonna melt off. And just that wind snap come in and just refroze it. And we usually, what happens is we don't like the salt walks because concrete and salt, sodium chloride,
no good.
it's the combination that does not work out for anything.
Right.
It spalls the top of the concrete.
Yeah.
So we try not to salt them. The salt that gets on the sidewalks typically comes off the road with the snow plow, and it gets on there enough, and then when Nick comes and plows it off, usually, they always bear up themselves. We just haven't had the amount of snow to get back over to the walks with the brine in it.
Well, if I get any more complaints like that, I'm just going to say, we are doing the best we can, but everyone can walk on that sidewalk in the winter, but at your own risk. Be aware, you got to walk the winter walk.
To be honest with you, Heights has a no salt policy. Their attorneys advised them not to salt, and I said, I don't see how you could even have that policy. He salted that day that I told you he was already coming out.
Yeah.
He salted that day, and they didn't break up, and he salted them the next morning again, quite a bit of salt.
Right.
I mean, we have a drop spreader, which has been the best thing the village has purchased, and it basically just sprinkles the salt, drops it straight down. Most salt spreaders are cyclones.
Yeah.
And they go too far and they kill everybody's grass, so he salted several times.
Okay, thank you.
All the
Thanks, Nick.
walks in the village.
Thanks. No, I wasn't trying to put pressure on you. People were asking me, and I haven't lived close enough to a sidewalk to be aware of the maintenance when it's going on. I just wanted to, I was more out of curiosity, but if I get any more complaints, I'm going to,
We really don't mind the complaints. We like reaction, you know, and we need the people out there to tell us whether there's an issue, because when we're checking walks,
yeah,
sometimes they don't check the walks, all of them. You just look at a certain percentage of them, you know what I mean?
all right.
And so
But it also depends on weather
it is.
and the wind.
This has been a really unusual year. The lower half of the route from South Trip Hammer down has had really only little,
You've had no snow?
yeah, like a little bit. I salt that lower route, and I had to salt, he was plowing 2 or 3 inches up at Brentwood Arrowwood. He called me, he says, so our timing is perfect. We come back to the shop around the same time. And I ended up covering like Bush Lane for him. And I'm like, what is taking so? He said, I had to plow every road. When you're just salting, you only have to make one pass on it. You know what I mean?
Right,
So.
yeah. Okay. Anything else?
I'm sorry it took too long.
No, that's okay. Anything else for questions,
Mike is gonna beat me later.
comments? Beat him good.
Brought it on yourself.
Okay. Moving on, Jody.
I've been collecting information regarding the January 13th joint meeting, and I'll be sending out another update this week. I've got quite a few comments, so. But the plan is to do it then, I'll do it as I get more stuff at the beginning of January, so I'll have a couple updates and we can get as much done as possible, so we have a very productive meeting.
Good. Thank you.
Oh, Siren. So I checked into Siren after the fire thing, and I called Jeff Dunn, who's in charge. He set me up with an account. We can do both regular announcements or emergency announcements. So I think this fits right into the comprehensive plan, taking care of that goal. So I'm signed up, and if you guys want me to continue, I will do Ronnie and John also. So if you want to do that, I think it'd be great.
Yes, sorry, say again. the
We
two
can
different
do
types.
village announcements and village emergencies. So
So
people,
announcements don't have to be an emergency.
no, so like tree pickup,
Road closure.
yeah.
That is,
Closure,
I think
or on the
that's-
emergency
that-
side, wouldn't it?
announcements would be fab.
Well, if it's due
Okay,
to a
great.
water break, yeah, but if you know that you got a planned resurfacing or something, you could say it's going to be closed.
Road emer, yeah.
Similar to
oh,
putting your
that's
sign up,
excellent.
but we can also send out a
And
siren.
there's over 3,000 people signed up for it.
Villagers.
Well, to get a village announcements. Now, it could be that people
Never
like
moved.
me have signed up for everything, every municipality, so that I would see what was going on with everyone.
All right, that's awesome.
So,
Thank you,
yeah,
Julie.
and I've already created a article for the spring newsletter that tells people how to sign up and what it's all
It's not even
about.
winter yet, according to Chris, and winter hasn't started yet. You're already on the spring newsletter.
Well, and I can also, once we get going, send it to you if you have that list that you did for the surveys, and you can send out that little announcement.
Yeah.
Then maybe we can get even some more people to sign up.
Yeah.
But I think, once we get that ball rolling, it's gonna be awesome.
The-
Very easy way, Tompkins County, there's no fee to us, so,
Yeah, that's
great,
nice.
Awesome,
Yeah.
good calling.
The thing that I found useful this year, I've really seen it this year, is that for road closures, I'll get road closures in going down to the city or the town of Ithaca, and they say this road is gonna be closed for these 3 days. So I know, don't go that way, go another way, and it comes in handy. So that would be the but yeah, get John an account, and myself.
okay?
Or if it's something that we can do, send us a link or whatever.
I will have him set you up, and then he will send you, there's a training video,
Okay,
and then the form, it's real easy,
okay.
so, shouldn't be that hard at all.
Do all trustees need that?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe deputy mayor. You want her signed up too?
Sure. We just don't want 3 people sending the same message. I don't know if the system's smart enough.
Yeah, we gotta simplify it, yeah, for sure.
Roads,
Anything to do with roads, water, sewer, you.
Okay,
Once you tell me about when you're gonna pick up trees, I can do that for you.
okay,
we'll figure it out.
we'll figure it out.
I can send out a notice when our newsletter comes out, send them to the website.
Good, that's great.
Yeah, I think it's awesome.
Our communication goal.
I guess something like illicit discharge or anything like that has to be notified, I get ahold of one of you guys,
Yeah,
pretty much.
yeah, if you're doing that often enough, we can just make you an account too.
Well, let's hope we don't have to do it all.
Yeah, you shouldn't have to, but we'll start with a few accounts, and then if we need more.
Yeah, we can always add more.
Thanks,
No big
Judy.
deal. Do you want to approve vouchers?
Did everyone have a chance to look at the vouchers? Any questions about the vouchers?
No.
Okay,
Spend too much this month.
No, it was lovely.
no,
No, $280,000.
No numbers.
yeah, I think that's over for at least maybe until spring, so, I think, but yeah.
Stop it. I second.
Okay, I will move that we accept the vouchers,
Second.
and Susan seconds. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye? Okay,
And I abstain. I didn't see the vouchers.
yes. One abstention. Anything else, Jody?
Nope.
Okay. Susan?
Just the youth services met. And again, since summer, there wasn't a quorum. But again, just looking at updating the needs of youth in our community. And like us, they're looking at a plan forward, but requiring documentation, and they don't have it yet. So,
Do they have any kind of a winter plan for youth at risk?
no.
No places to stay beyond what the county offers now? Yeah, that's been a sticking point for a while.
A lot of couch surfing, I mean, but it's because of what I do in my other world. It's just countrywide. It's just there are a lot of mental health issues that are not being met. Nobody's got an answer, except we're going to build. And what you read whatever's going on locally and then just multiply. My other job, I get calls. I have a 24-year-old, I have a 17-year-old, and this is, so we're not unique. I mean, this is just, so it shouldn't look at locally, the service providers, they're doing the best they can, given the resources and the state of affairs currently. So that's, want to talk about sewer lines or something? I'd rather, that you can do something about.
Anything else, Susan?
No, nothing else.
Okay. Wolfgang, do you have anything for us?
No, I don't. Just happy Christmas. Other than that, nothing.
Same to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Carolyn?
Two things. The first is that I spoke with Todd Metcalf at General Code regarding the code update and getting it on the website and what we want to do with our code, and whether we want to hire somebody to do our code updates and look for inconsistencies, or whether we want to do it ourselves. General Code did this book that Jody just gave me in 1999. And if we want to get our code to do e-codes, they have a certain format that they follow. So he asked me for a copy of our code in a PDF, which we don't really have. We have like multiple PDFs on the website, and he hasn't necessarily complained that that's what we've given him so far. When I just told him it's in parts, he never got back to us. So I asked him to come to the January 13th meeting to present to the trustees and the board and the planning board if they want to have General Code review the code, what services he would provide, and then also if we're interested in e-codes. Now, as I've told you before, I'm interested in e-codes because I find it in the municipalities that I use it for to be extremely useful. So I'd like to ask you guys to please go to the town of Ithaca and log into e-code, and you'll see the difference between what we have in the village and what they have in terms of usefulness to the residents. Maybe with our smaller residents and our smaller needs, it's less essential. I also clarified the subscription price because on the website it was $100. He said, no, it's more like $1,100 for a municipality to have an annual subscription to e-code, which is not a lot. But there's also the formatting costs, and then there's also the review costs, and what do we want to get into with him? So I asked him to present. He hasn't really confirmed after our last, he didn't really reply to our last, the code in PDF. Jody said, no, it's just up on the website in sort of like sections, PDF sections. I said, are you gonna live with that? And he never replied. And then, but he did say, he comes to present at boards all the time, that's not uncommon, what their offerings are. So people can decide, he'll present, and people can decide. If we want him to come to that meeting, he's available.
One of my questions is, we had that done in, 96?
1999.
But in 2005, we went to our own. We didn't stick with them.
And why was
I
that?
think it was because how cumbersome the updates were. But that was back before you really had electronic.
Processing is so much easier.
So, but I don't know, is it really?
I mean, I wouldn't be advocating for use them on an annual basis. I would be advocating, because the planning board has routinely said to us, we're unhappy with the inconsistencies in the code. It would be nice, I think, to have somebody who routinely goes in municipalities' codes and looks for inconsistencies, I think that would be of benefit to the village, especially because it's one of the planning board's long-term goals.
Couldn't they do it?
Yes, but
They're getting paid, so why not have them?
it's because of time and, and expertise. So it's a pay up. You either pay for it or you do it yourself. You want to do it?
E-codes, I mean, essentially, we could do it as small. I agree with you on, the E-codes is very helpful. I have E-codes for the uniform code, and it's very, what you're talking about.
Yeah, you couldn't use that. It's this thick, yeah.
So it is very good. I mean, I can search everything, but you're right, is it necessary for the size of our zoning and our code?
I think almost right now, the only people who the code probably knows are like literally sitting in this room because we search it. And I always wish it was slightly more searchable whenever I am thinking about something. But I can live with it. But also, it's better. And if it's only $1,000 a year, because we're paying, if we decide we want to use them to update the code, so then we're just paying $1,000 a year for E-code, I think it's a no-brainer. If we don't want them to update the code, then it's not worth updating the code just to get the E-codes, for sure, you know what I'm saying, because of the size of who we are. So that's something that the planning board / board of trustees can decide.
Yeah, and we'll all see the same information, provided that they come to the meeting and make a
If he
presentation.
comes to the meeting and makes a
Yeah.
presentation,
So-
which he said he would. I'm blanking right now, I'm
Joint meeting, just January 13th,
13th,
blanking
yes,
on what the second issue was.
7:30.
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock.
I'm blanking, maybe you should go, Ronnie. It wasn't rec partnership, even though there's a little bit about that. I won't bore you with that.
Anything with the comp plan?
No, we're gonna really ramp up starting in January.
Okay, all right, so it's kind of on hiatus then.
We're just closing out the survey
Yeah,
period.
yeah,
We're up to 145 on the residentials, and I wanna say, we did get the businesses up slightly. But it's still kind of on this, oh, thank you, got it. Happy about that you just raised it. Okay, so amongst the main business concerns on the residential survey is something that I've been now thinking about and I mentioned it at the last meeting, and I want to bring it up again, which is zombie property legislation. This is now becoming more of a priority for me, because I think that we're never gonna get the properties here that are abandoned to be anything other than abandoned unless there's consequences. So I raised this at the last meeting, and I want to raise it again as one of my main priorities right now. I think that I asked Natalie about it. We've never had a zombie property legislation, but they're not uncommon. And I think it's time to seriously consider what that is. So it basically would be that it wouldn't be worth your financial benefit to hold the property for tax reasons, because you're gonna have consequences to it being abandoned.
Here's the thing,
Okay, tell me.
if they do not, we are always made whole every year. If, say, a zombie property doesn't pay their taxes, it gets re-levied on the town and county bill, and they pay us. So we are always made whole every year, so that's not a concern of ours.
My concern is the zombie properties.
But I mean, as far as the tax money.
Right, okay.
money.
What I want to have happen is something besides, so what the businesses said in their surveys, which is, thank you for saying it was comp plan related. When I read through the business comments, they're all like, I can't stand being next to this abandoned hotels. Look at this, and it doesn't behoove our village to have 2 Main Street properties in such disrepair right now. And I want that to be
yeah,
something
we
that.
have to, but in that case, what is your definition, or what is the standard definition of a zombie property?
I only talked to Natalie about it for 30 seconds, so I haven't really thought about it from a legislative point of view, except that I'm intrigued by the idea. What is deemed abandoned, legally speaking? I'm not sure, but I know these 2 properties will qualify.
I can get a hold of NICOM and
Yeah.
have them send me.
Thank you,
NICOM.
thank you.
Yep.
That would be fabulous. So anyway, this is a new priority for me, because I didn't even think about we should be proactively solving this problem, but we should. Because a lot of it is something, if we're listening to our business residents as to what their concerns are, this was mentioned multiple times.
My concern is that what we perceive as being a zombie property may not legally be a zombie property. Someone may have enough,
Okay, well, we'll just, at least if we looked into it,
Yeah,
and we
we'll
can't
know.
solve the problem, we haven't made it worse.
No.
But if we can solve the problem, then we made the village better.
Right.
So I'd like to at least look at it.
yeah. I know that it is an issue, at least within the state, because I have heard of the issues.
Yeah, so then NICOM will probably have already thought it through, and they can tell us what to do. Thank you, Jody.
And being a zombie property doesn't necessarily mean it's an unsafe structure, so it can be handled by code. Just because, I mean, you just can't, well, I can't do anything about it as far as, just in case someone was thinking that, hey, why can't something in
Yeah,
the uniform
right.
code, like property
Right.
maintenance? I mean, there's certain things, if grass is growing up, then, okay, yes, the
Right.
uniform code can take over. But as far as a structure, as long as it's a safe structure, and no one's able to get into it, has open, windows or whatnot, then it's completely different. So you might need something to be able to handle.
And maybe we could be more strict about what our parking lot, what maintenance has to be, because Trip Mall's parking lot is not safely maintained. And I use it all the time, because I go back and forth to reuse like all the time, and I'm always using that back lot, and it's just treacherous back there. So maybe there is something already in our building code about
Something that could
keeping
be-
parking lots.
Okay.
I mean, even, that's not gonna solve the problem 100%, but it is gonna make the village nicer to just even fix that. So, I don't know, that's, okay, so that's what I'm thinking about.
No, that's a good discussion. And we should at least look into it. I wish there was something that we could do as a village to have some of our properties not be quite such an eyesore. But I don't know.
And to be functional, and to contribute.
Yeah,
Yeah, thank you, yeah. I appreciate the reminder.
okay. Everything,
That's it, those two issues.
Kathleen?
Okay, I know you guys all want to get out of here quick. I actually wrote some things down. There was a really, well, the NICOM webinars were good on the Article 78 drafting decisions. I thought that was it was excellent, and the ethics as well. Let's see. Cuba Lake Intermunicipal Watershed and the Cuba Lake Watershed Network co-hosted a program on the new clean water plan. And they had two people from the DEC and also Dr. Matthews from the Upstate Freshwater Institute presenting on that plan. The total maximum daily load is the other way it's referred to, that just came out, that was EPA approved. So that was good. I was going to ask for a resolution or a motion to approve submission for the climate smart communities documents of the solar law and the Chapter 8 laws that were passed this year.
You want copies of them? Is that what you're saying? Copies.
The copies, the copies
just go back to the
PDFs we
minutes.
have, no, but a resolution just saying, in the past, when materials have been submitted for review for the climate smart communities, then the trustees approve those documents to be submitted. So what I'm
That's all part of
asking.
procedure. Anytime you have to do something, you have to do it by resolution.
By
So it's
resolution, right.
It makes more sense for you to just copy those two. that have been
Right,
done.
so what I'm asking is, did I bring it? No, of course not. I have it here somewhere. Okay, so I'm asking us to, resolution to send local law 2, 2024 to amend Chapter 80 entitled illicit discharge activities and connections to separate storm sewer system law of the Village of Lansing Code in its entirety to comply with the requirements of the SPDES general permit for municipal storm sewer systems.
So you just need a copy of local law 2. that you need to send to someone?
But in the past, we've had to pass a resolution from the trustees saying, approving submission of any documents for climate smart communities or clean energy communities, consideration to achieve their levels. And so what Kathleen is asking is for a resolution from us, allowing her to submit,
Or Ronnie.
me,
Ronnie.
Kathleen or myself, to submit the illicit discharge law that we updated and the solar law that we updated.
It's fine, let's just do it.
Yeah. So I will make a motion that we
Who are you sending this to?
submit them onto the climate smart communities and clean energy communities online, I can't remember what to call it, a documentation system. Basically, it's proof that we have created artifacts within the village that support either the clean energy community program or the climate smart communities program. Sometimes it goes to one, sometimes it goes to both, because they're almost parallel in certain respects. So I will make a motion that we approve Kathleen or myself to submit both of those documents to climate smart communities and clean energy communities documentation systems.
I'll second.
The other one is local law, if you need it, it's just local law 3, 2024 amendment. That's the solar. I can read the whole thing.
Both of the,
okay.
there's local law 2 and local law 3 that we just recently approved. So I moved, Carolyn seconded. Is there any discussion? We'll just be submitting an exact copy of what we approved, so that's all it is. Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you, Wolfgang. So we can submit those now, so. And we can pull those off of the website if we have to. Okay, anything else, Kevin?
No, not really. Not really. I'll wait till the next time.
Okay.
The meeting, there is no December meeting for the climate smart communities. So it had been on the calendar on the website.
Oh, is it still on?
Yeah.
Okay, it's been canceled.
So it's rescheduled to January.
January, yeah. I'll remove that. I just haven't done it yet. As far as my comments, we've already discussed the Golden State easements. Thank you, John. Thanks, everyone. And just a reminder, and Jody's already brought it up, for everyone to look over materials and prepare for the joint meeting with the planning board. As Jody said, we want to make it as efficient and productive as possible. So it sounds like it'll be a busy meeting, might be a longish meeting too, so kind of be prepared. Longer than our usual meetings, for sure.
Do you want me to confirm with Todd Metcalf that he wants to come, or do people want him to come?
Well, is there time, do you think, to have a presentation and questions?
I tell him it's a 10-minute presentation slot? Because the thing is, one of the main topics of conversation is going to be revising the code. That's one of the planning board's main agenda items. So we should hear from him for 10 minutes and then ask him to,
I mean, if he wants to come for 10 minutes, that's.
well, it's going to be Zoom, I'll tell him to Zoom in.
Oh, okay, all right.
So we want to hear from you with approximately a 10-minute presentation. Is that, and 5 minutes for questions?
Yeah.
Okay? But if the planning board loves it, then they can keep asking him questions.
Do you think a presentation of it should be at the beginning, Mike? Get that over with and.
I mean, for his sake, probably, yeah.
I also think because it really makes a lot of choice, it really, deciding whether or not we want to hire someone makes a big difference in what else we talk about during the meeting.
It might, yes.
Because the planning board is gonna push towards topics that can be done quickly, just to get them done. Because if you start getting into short-term rentals, or you start getting into best systems, something like that, stuff easy, the other stuff easy, so it's just gonna get pushed back.
That's exactly what I said to Jody. I
Probably
want
the
to
easiest thing to do is revising the code or we're, looking over the zoning and code.
Okay.
Do we have topics for the 16th?
16th,
We don't have a meeting? No?
13th, the joint meeting?
So we don't have a meeting on the 16th.
The Thursday we do.
December 16th,
Day, December
And
2nd.
the other one, oh, the Monday is a holiday. Remember?
January 16th is a holiday.
Do we have a meeting in 3 days?
Yes.
Yes, but I don't
Do we have
have.
topics? That's what I was asking.
No.
We don't have any topics.
I'm not sure, I can't think of anything from my standpoint that we need to talk about. Does anyone else have?
We could try to, maybe not.
Can't think of anything.
Well, I'm saying we could try to hear from Natalie on zombie law, but maybe it's not enough time. I don't want to rush her. It's not a rush issue, so no. And I don't have anything.
Okay. Do you have anything that you need us to do, Jody?
Just approve the minutes, but we can do that right now if you want.
Okay, and that was from December 2nd, right? Did everyone get a chance to look over the December 2nd meeting minutes?
Yes.
Okay. I will move that we approve the draft December 2nd, 2024 meeting minutes for the Board of Trustees.
Second.
Susan seconds. Any discussion or questions?
Just typos that were corrected.
Okay. Then all
Just
the,
the spelling of Collier. You got that?
Yeah.
Yep.
No, it's COLLIER.
IERS. It's.
What is it, Collier?
COLLIER.
Okay. And I did get the other one that was the Earth,
It was a,
Alco, and one of them was spelled wrong. I
Source
got that.
Solutions. Okay.
Yeah, I looked that up online, and that is just an engineering firm.
Collier, yeah.
So how are they giving, so
Yeah.
basically they're jacking their price up so that they
They
can go
merged.
red for them?
They merged. It used to be a small Rochester thing, and now they joined a national thing. So they're still doing their small-time work, like they've been representing the town for.
So how do they give incentives? So basically they're pushing the price up and then giving a discount price? Or,
I didn't hear anything. I heard nothing.
Sitting in that.
I heard nothing about the discount price, so I don't know.
if you look at that, the different incentives, federal, New York, state, NICEAG, yeah. Get into it a little further.
Any more discussion, or do you want to look at it before we proceed?
No.
Okay. All those in favor of approving the draft minutes for December 2nd, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
It's approved.
So is it too late to cancel that meeting, or is there enough time?
I think that we can cancel.
I mean, we can cancel, it just won't be in the paper, I'll just be on the boards
I'll put it
and on the
up,
website.
put it up on the website.
Okay, I'll take it. Are we canceling it?
Sounds like it.
Okay, I shall delete.
Okay. Anything else?
Well, no, you have to pass the,
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Resolution to
Let me, I will move that we cancel the December 16th, 2024 Board of Trustees meeting.
Second.
Susan seconds. All those in favor say aye.
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 Anyone against or abstaining? No meeting on Monday. Which means that our next meeting will be in January. So, everyone have happy holidays,
Thank you. Ron.
safe holidays and days for you guys. You're out there on the road. So,
Good Christmas.
no snow Christmas.
Yeah.
Christmas week, no
Don't
snow.
say that.
Don't say that.
Not
No
nice.
snow.
Everybody wants snow on Christmas.
nothing on the road.
Thank you for lunch.
These guys don't.
Thank you for
Yeah.
lunch. I'm taking my dessert on the road, don't think I'm not having dessert.
Is that you that did that?
No, I wish.
Who made that?
I did.
That's good.
Wow. All right,
Credit for somebody else.
Do we have a dishwasher here?
yeah, you will.
Hand washer? I'll hand wash
yeah.
it. That's okay, I'll do it.
I didn't hear you, Chris.
So are you taking the credit for somebody else
You
making
can
it?
move to.
No, I've made it.
Adjourn? Oh, really?
I will move that we adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye
Hi.
and bye.
Aye.
Okay. Thanks, Wolfgang.